And we are live. So we'll be right back with you, Howlers. We got a special guest today, and we'll be right back.
Baz. I'm Ronnie Adams.
And I'm Jacob Costas, and we got a special guest. And this episode is called Lahaina Strong. So we got a very special guest today. We wanted to, she flew all the way from Hawaii, from Lahaina. So we're going to let her introduce herself to you guys. So go ahead. How you doing?
Aloha, guys. My name is Danielle Cedar. Thank you so much for having me. This means a lot, so I can bring awareness to what's really been going on in Lahaina.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna start out a little bit though. We want to talk about how we met, and she actually came on here to actually talk about her book. This is original. That's what she was coming on for, but we're switching it up because we'll explain a little bit why we're switching it up.
Yeah, so you and I had talked about me coming on, and I called you a few weeks ago, freaking out. I lost my home. I lost my job. All of Lahaina, it's gone. And I was like, I just don't feel right talking about myself. I don't feel right promoting my book right now. I'm like, this just doesn't feel appropriate. And you would call me down. You're like, well, why don't you still come and let's just talk about Lahaina and bring awareness. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so no problem. So yeah, we wanted to kind of go over, we have a lot to go over today, but we want to break this down a little bit for you guys. So me and Danielle actually met in Greece. Well, on the way to Greece, we went to Europe. How long ago was this?
That was the first week of May. So yeah, I had just published my book, and my release date was actually your birthday, which we found out. And so 10 days after my book came out, we're sitting together on a plane for 10, 11 hours.
Yeah.
So we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And got to talk about the book and podcast. And then us and your friends, we all met up in Mykonos, which was a blast. And, you know, we're friends for life. We're stuck together now.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of was crazy how we met, and we've been keep linking up. And she's actually even runs into friends that we were out there in Greece. She ran into Frank at Disneyland, just randomly,
Recently.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was out here in LA last month, and I was in the cantina, the bar in the Star Wars area of Disneyland, and I look across, and I'm like, is that Frank? Like, I know that dude. And this world just gets smaller and smaller.
We always at the happiest place on earth, so.
It was so random.
So it was a good thing.
It was like a Thursday, and he was there with his daughter, and I don't live in the state anymore, and it was so random.
just wanted to check. Okay, so we're good on signal because okay. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, so we actually came to talk about the book a little bit. We wanted just to kind of go over what this is about because she's going to come back for us to actually go over her book. And for you guys that are out there, you know we do a lot of DNRs, the dating and relationships. She'd be the perfect person to have on one of the dating and relationships. She's not going to do this one. She's going to come on for another one when she comes back, and we'll go over the book. But just want to kind of give you an idea. Want to go do a quick rundown what the book's about, and then we'll go to everything else.
Absolutely. So I wrote Dear Thomas. It's my experience and my journey of what it's like to be in love with a drug addict. And so I wrote this book for all of the loved ones of addicts. So if you've ever been in love with an addict or an alcoholic, or you have a loved one in the family, whether that's a sibling, a parent, a child, I wrote this book for you. Also, anyone that's going through a toxic relationship, or if you're with a narcissist, this book is for you as well. I wrote this so you know that you're not alone, and I relate to you. So I definitely want to give a shout out to all those people. If you're looking for something and looking for someone relatable, I'm right here. So you can get my book anywhere online, on Amazon, online, Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million. We got paperbacks, hardbacks, and ebooks. So you can download it on Kindle and iBooks right now and read it. And hit me up on Instagram. I would love to hear your thoughts and how you relate. So definitely want to just give a shout out to all of you that I relate to you and I feel for you. So, and we'll definitely dive deep into this book, but on another day, for sure.
Yeah. So what we want to get into over here is we want to get on the devastation of Lahaina. So if anything, we should probably.
And that's
start-
Hawaii if you guys don't follow. That's in Hawaii.
The fire, everything that was going on. So, do you want to start out with the breakdown of what you were going through and the whole process first?
Yeah, so today is the 4-week anniversary. So this was 4 Tuesdays ago. August 8th. 808 in the 808. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. But, so the power went out at 4 in the morning. I remember waking up shortly after 4 a.m. because I noticed the air conditioning had turned off. And I was like, fuck, there's no power. There goes all that fresh fish in the refrigerator. My brother-in-law just giving me a whole thing of fucking Ono he just caught on the boat. I'm like, damn it, there goes that. And school was canceled because there was no power. So there was a lot of kids home alone because parents went to go work at the resorts. And all day I'm just sitting at home. I'm doing a puzzle in the living room. I'm praying to God my roof doesn't fly off. I'm watching the windows. I just got all my screens redone. And I remember for a second, I was like, God damn it, I really hope my screens don't blow away. Because it's like 80 mile per hour winds. And we can't open the fridge, can't open the freezer because the power's out. I only have trail mix in the pantry. So my roommate and I decided to go to Safeway. We're like, all right, let's get some, peanut butter and jelly supplies, basically. Anything that doesn't require cooking. Because in Hawaii, we all have electric stoves. There's no natural source of gas. So if some people might have propane. If you don't have propane, you're screwed. Everything's electric, so no one's cooking. So I go to Safeway, grab some stuff to make PB&J, chips and salsa. And when we're in, I was at Safeway. And meanwhile, also all day long, I'm watching solar panels fly off my neighbors' roofs. And trees are being uprooted. Like, it's nuts. It's fucking nuts. And so I go to Safeway and with 2 of my roommates. And 2 of us get out of the grocery store, but the other one got stuck in a different line that was taking forever. Because also there's no internet. So everyone's got to pay with cash. No one carries cash around anymore. And while I'm in the parking lot, I saw this tree fall and crush 3 cars right in front of us. And then I'm still waiting. I'm calling my roommate who's still stuck in Safeway. I'm like, God, are you at the front of the line yet? She's like, I'm almost there. So I'm waiting for a while. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, shit, I smell smoke. And I turn around and like 4 telephone poles had fallen down. And they're blocking the highway. And I can see smoke at the top of Lahaina Luna. And I get home. So this is 3 o'clock. So trees fallen, telephone poles are down, and the smoke is starting. I can smell it. There's a fire at the top of Lahaina Luna at like 3 o'clock. And then we go home, and I'm home at 3:30. And, oh yeah, so see this video. All that black smoke. So this video is taken from my bedroom window. And what I believe that I'm looking at the time is to the far right is the top of the hill. And I know there's structures on fire. But all this black smoke, it's just blowing in the direction of the wind. Knowing what I know now, all of that is on fire. That's not just smoke blowing all the way from the right. All of that is on fire in real time.
Wow.
And I'm watching this for 3 hours.
So at that point though, you feel like you're okay, you're safe, you could just chill.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like I can see the flames. The wind is going in that direction. It's not coming towards me. And also no one's telling me to go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
You got all that on fire right there,
Yeah.
and nobody's saying anything to you.
No. So
Okay.
I'm like, all right, I'm chilling. I'm home. I'm staying safe. I was getting pissed off earlier in the day watching my neighbors just walking around. They're walking their dogs. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, there's solar panels flying off roofs. Like, you're going to get hit in the head. And so I'm just staying safe inside my house, praying to God the roof doesn't fly off, and watching this fire for hours. And I'm watching it from, there's my neighbor's solar panel, and that's just one that went away. And you can just see how strong the wind is.
How
too.
high did they say the winds were at?
They were like 80 miles an hour.
80 miles an hour.
And I would go outside every now and then to like grab a chair that was, blowing off my lanai. I'm like, oh shit, let me grab the furniture or whatever. Mm-hmm. And when I was outside, the wind was hot. Like, it was creepy how hot it was, you know. And yeah, it's 80 miles an hour. So also, later people have asked, why weren't there, you know, helicopters like dropping water on the flames? You can't fly a helicopter in 80 mile per hour winds.
No,
like
not at all.
it's out of control.
Yeah, that's out of control.
Yeah. So
that right there is
Yeah.
something different.
So and when I saw the trees fall on those cars, I'm like, oh man, like that sucks. Like those people went in the store just to grab peanut butter and jellies, you know, and they're gonna come out and see that they can't leave. Like, oh, that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
but
Now I'm jumping ahead,
Yeah.
because this is in my head right now. Insurance. Does insurance cover most of the properties that were there?
it depends. So. And I'm not a homeowner, but my understanding is when you own a home, like you have to have homeowners
Yes,
insurance.
definitely.
However,
But fire insurance is different,
yes.
though.
Yes, that's what I'm
But
saying.
however, once your home is paid off, you don't have to have homeowners insurance if you don't want it.
Right.
So there's a lot of homes in Lahaina that have been in families for generations and
Right.
generations.
And after it's paid off, they don't want to pay that
yeah,
$1,800,
so it's very
$2,000
possible that
year.
there's a lot of people that don't
don't
have
have it.
homeowners insurance.
Especially fire insurance. A lot of people don't have fire
Yeah,
insurance.
a lot of people don't.
Oh yeah, and insurance agencies always try to, fuck you in the ass somehow. Like, oh, you got hurricane insurance, but you don't have fire insurance, or you don't have flood insurance.
Flood
It's like
insurance.
insurance is insurance. Like, if
And I'm
something's
sure most
happened-
people have flood insurance in Hawaii because of all that water that's right there.
But maybe not fire.
But maybe not fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keep going through the story. So where are you at on it right here?
So I'm watching the fire for hours, and I see it the flames getting closer and closer down the hill. And I remember thinking for a second, I'm like, why aren't the firefighters in front of that flame? Like, I know there's some areas that's not in their control, but it's like, why aren't they at least in front of that line of fire? I'm not a firefighter, so I can't talk shit. I don't understand
Yeah, but we know there was a lot of controversy about what happened. So
later.
yeah. So the thing is, we'll get into that. We want to get into your story, but were you wondering, obviously, why things ain't being done a certain way? Obviously, it has a lot of pull because there is people even from out here.
We were wondering the same thing.
You're like, why is that happening? And then people resigned and all this stuff. People were there before the fire happened. That doesn't go out there to watch everything go down. So yeah, explain your story. I feel like you told me a lot of your story. I want people to hear your rundown of the story.
Yeah,
because it's incredible.
So I'm watching the flames come down the mountain, and I'm not thinking that my house is going to burn. I'm not even fearful that my house is going to be on fire. But I can tell for the wind, like, damn it, we're going to get some smoke over here pretty soon, because I seen the flames getting closer and closer and closer, and we're going to get some smoke over here. My 9-month-old godson was downstairs. My downstairs tenant, she would babysit him a couple days a week, and I would have him certain days. So my godson was downstairs, and all I'm thinking about is I need to get him away from the smoke. That's it. And
So if your godson wasn't there, would you have stayed, you think, and
yeah,
slept out?
I really didn't have a reason to leave. No one's coming around telling us to leave. I'm safe inside my house. But I got to get my baby out of here. I don't want him being suffocated by the smoke. So it's like, you know what? It's time to get him home on the other side of the island.
Yeah, other family there?
My Hanai family. Yeah. So Hanai, and you guys all have Hanai families. Hanai's family is like your brother who's not your blood brother, but like that's been your best friend forever. And it's like, that's your brother without blood. That's what the name Hanai means.
From my cousins.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So my Hanai family, they live on the other side of the island. And so
Little baby boy right there.
yeah, man, it's crazy. I might tear up because it's like I left when I did because of him. Like, he saved my life. And he has no idea. Like, we'll talk about that another day, when he's old enough to understand. But it's like, yeah, my baby, he saved my life.
Because even me, when we were talking about this, I know that I probably wouldn't have left. If I had my kids with me, I would have, because of the smoke, I'd have been like, hey, we got to leave. But it would take a long time. I would have been like, no, we're going to wait this out a little bit. You know what I mean? And so But if I had my kids, I'm like, oh, I gotta leave the smoke and all that stuff just to make sure. But most people would have stayed.
Right.
And you were and you just like you told us, you're like you would have stayed.
Yeah, well, there was a fire in 2018 from Hurricane Lane, and I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning then to the smell of smoke. And 20 minutes later, cops were at my door telling us to leave.
See that?
So
why did this happen?
Yeah,
this
so
round?
I'm like, clearly I'm fine. I can see the smoke going in that direction. If I have to leave, someone's going to come here and tell me to leave.
Yeah.
And
So where were they taking people? Where were they leaving to?
No, nobody was leaving.
nobody
Nobody
knew
left.
about any of
No,
this.
no one knew
If
to-
they left, it was on their own accord.
Yeah. The power was out. Like, people are at home taking naps. And no one knows what's going on because no one's coming around.
Explain to
telling
him
them
though that there was kids home because school power was out. So school. So explain that.
Yeah, the power was out, so school is canceled. So kids are home alone. Parents are at work at the resorts. Adults don't know to evacuate,
Because nobody's telling
so
them.
kids don't know to evacuate.
They just think the fire's too far.
Well, it was just happening so fast, and if people are inside and their windows are closed,
Nobody's no alarms going off.
no
nothing.
sirens going off telling people to get out.
And everybody's just sticking to themselves.
But
They're
the
not
kids
going
are
to their
home
neighbors.
by
like,
themselves. How
Kids-
many kids are
Y'all
missing
okay?
still
Over 104 kids are missing.
Wow.
that were in their
Over
homes?
104
home from
kids
school.
were burned alive in their homes. And, there's still, and we'll get morbid. We're not going to hold anything back. But there's some bodies that will never be found because there are no bodies, because they are fully cremated on site. And any parents out there listening, please, you have got to have a conversation with your kids. Like, people need to have evacuation plans. Like, if your kids are home alone and they think something isn't right, whether that's a fire, I don't know. If kids feel like something's not right, you need to tell them to just get the fuck out. Like, fuck your Nintendo. Open the door so the dogs can go in whatever direction they want, but kids got to get out. And this is a conversation that families need to have at the dinner table. And this isn't a one-time conversation. This is a quarterly conversation. Okay, if this neighborhood's on fire, you kids got to run to this grocery store and I'll meet you there.
You need to hear this story, Ronnie. Like, I want you to finish, and then we're gonna get into
Yeah.
stuff because the thing is,
I'm just wondering why cell phones ain't cracking.
Cell phones aren't working.
No, dude, it's even worse.
Telephone
They can't even
poles
call
are
their
down.
kids to tell their kids to leave. They
No.
can't even call them.
Wow.
The kids are home alone
Wow.
by
Yeah.
themselves. 12-year-olds with 10-year-olds. All these kids
Yeah.
that are in elementary school.
Yeah.
So this is getting crazy. But I want her to tell the story because we're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. Like, imagine the government isn't telling you to leave. They're not telling you to go anywhere. Who can protect you then? It takes the parents and the children to actually have conversations to be able to protect each other now.
Yeah.
So if you think that something's going on, there's some like real controversy going on. Now you got to make sure you're protecting your family from the government itself. So it gets real crazy. But I want you to go through your experience, your story on this, because they need to hear this.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna get into some real.
So I finally made the decision to leave. But again, I was only leaving to get away from the smoke. Genuinely thinking I'm going to go home tomorrow. So I didn't grab anything. It's like I half-ass evacuated just because I knew I'm leaving, so I should grab something. So I grabbed my clothes hamper because it was full. And this is for anyone. If anyone ever has to run out of their house and you got 2 fucking seconds, a woman told me that she said, grab your clothes hamper. Because it's more than likely to have all your favorite clothes in there anyways. And so I grabbed my clothes hamper, my computer, and my cat. And then, of course, my godson. And that was it. I fucking forgot my safe with all my documents. All that shit's replaceable, but it's a pain in the ass. But that was it. And again, because I genuinely thought I would go home the next day. I was solely leaving to get my baby away from the smoke. That was it. And I left at 6:10. And I started watching that fire from my house at 3:30. So for 3 hours, I'm watching this. And no one's coming by to tell us to leave. And I got out of there. And that's pretty much my day as far as waking up at 4 a.m., no power, sitting at home just being safe in the living room, putting together a puzzle. There's nothing else to do. And then just getting my godson out of there. And
I don't know if you want to go too deep into this because we were talking about this before, but you had a roommate and she still has not been found.
yeah, my roommate is missing. And let's be real, it's been 28 days. We can say forever that she's missing. And, am I ever going to get closure? I don't know.
A lot of people.
You know her location before she was missing? Because she wasn't at home with you, but was she at work?
She was.
Oh, she just didn't leave.
No, and this is hard for me because I don't want anyone to look at her in a certain way, but this is important. Ignorance can kill innocent people. And we all left, and she was throwing a fit because she left her phone behind. And so she got out of the car to walk back to get a phone. A phone that doesn't have cell reception. A phone that is 100% replaceable. And we've never seen or heard from her again. This is all over a cell phone. And that's also why, how I brought up, like, when families have conversations with your kids, fuck your Nintendo, fuck your cell phone.
So she was with you. She was
in the other car. I had my godson and my cat in one car.
Of a second, she was gone.
And all my roommates were in the other car. Mm-hmm. And I saw them pull over, and I didn't understand why they were pulling over. And I just kept going, And then that's what I found out later, is what was going on.
Talk about people in the water. Talk about,
yeah.
The families missing. Just talk. Yeah. I want you to kind of go over that. The hotel. Everything we were talking about. Kind of go over some things.
So later, when I got to the other side of the island, I had cell reception on that side. So the whole west side has no service whatsoever. Cell phones don't exist. And so on the other side, I finally had service. And I remember, maybe 8 o'clock that night, I seen a news report about people jumping into Lahaina Harbor for their lives. Because the fire, it started at the top of the hill, Mauka. So Mauka means mountain, Makai means ocean. So when you're talking about what side of the highway you live on, you're like, oh, I'm on the Mauka side, or I'm on the Makai side, I'm on mountain or ocean. So the fire starts Mauka. So the only direction to go is Makai. And so once you hit the ocean, that's the only place you have to go. So hundreds and hundreds of people are jumping into the ocean. The water's boiling. Boats are blowing up. People are breaking their ankles, jumping over the seawall and landing on the rocks. Children. My friend's kids are 18 and 13, and they were in the ocean from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. And again, that timeline, they're in the ocean at 5 p.m. I didn't leave my house until 6:10. So while there's already people fighting for their life in the ocean, and I'm sitting in my living room doing a fucking puzzle.
Because nobody's telling them anything to evacuate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the protocol.
Yeah.
To tell them that. And do you want to explain a little bit of that?
Yeah, I'll get there. But I want to shout out to my friend Aaron. He and I were roommates for 4 years, and he's the brother I never asked for. Love him to death. And he's a firefighter. And he wasn't scheduled to work that day. And he was down at the harbor working on a boat. And when he saw the fire at the top of the hill, he jumped off the boat, got on his dirt bike, and went straight to the fire station. But no one was there, so he jumped on the back of a truck with the lifeguards or the Coast Guard or something. And there was nothing he could do about the fire, so he single-handedly was going around kicking in people's doors and helping people evacuate. And when he would kick in doors, people are just sitting in their house, sitting there, because they don't even know what's going on outside. And he's kicking people out and yelling at people. He's like, get the fuck out now or you are going to die. And he's throwing elderly women over his shoulder and getting them out. And so he was more useful doing that than trying to fight flames because it was out of control. And later he gets down to Front Street and he's literally walking through flames. And he has no idea that there's people in the water till he gets to the seawall. And people are handing him their babies. And he's carrying people who had broken their ankles from landing on the rocks. And it was apocalyptic. It's exactly what you imagine hell to look like.
He sounds like a true hero. What's his name?
His name is Aaron Griffith.
Aaron Griffith. Shout out to Aaron Griffith.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron. I love
Shout
you.
out.
That's a hero right there. I mean, he didn't even have time to go get his stuff.
No, I mean, yeah, he was working on a boat and he got on his dirt bike and that was it. There was no going home to try to save anything. Like, all he has is the clothes on his back. That's all he has.
And he just went and saved people. That's our hero right there.
Yeah, that's all he could do. I mean, and he's, you know, it's not like he could get to my neighborhood and be like, hey, Danielle, get out of here. No, he's in the neighborhoods where they're catching flames in that moment, and he's kicking in those doors and saving those people.
Dang. That's incredible. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even... See, the thing is, when we were talking, I didn't even know what kind of stuff was going down like that. We weren't getting that information over
No,
here.
a lot of information we wasn't getting.
No, and then we're getting the aftermath of all the controversy. So, I mean, do you want to kind of go over, like, the drill that everybody knows that should have happened, that did not happen?
So every month, the first business day of the month at 11:45, we have the sirens test. Sirens go off at 11:45 for like 30 seconds or something. And this is obviously for tsunamis. We live in the middle of the ocean. That's the first disaster you would think that would ever happen to us. Those sirens are meant for any disaster, any emergency. Those sirens are meant to tell people, like, hey, open your eyes and ears because something's happening. And the man, I shouldn't even call him a man, the poor excuse of a man who was in charge of setting that siren off, chose not to. And again, there's kids at home alone. There are adults at home taking a nap because it's their day off because the power's out. I was going to take a nap, but I didn't because it was fucking hot in my house because the AC wasn't working. And this guy has the audacity to say he does not regret not sounding off the siren. He says that siren is meant for tsunamis. So if he set off a tsunami siren, then he thinks all the people of Lahaina are going to be under the impression that a tsunami's coming and we're all going to run Mauka into flames. You have that little fucking faith in your people that you think you're going to send a siren off to save their lives and you think we're going to run into the fucking fire?
Well, isn't that what
And they
happened
can't
anyways?
see.
They blocked off.
Yeah.
So listen to this. They blocked everything
And
off.
then all the
They couldn't
roads
get
were
out.
fucking blocked. Like
By
telephone
police.
poles are down. Police are blocking roads. Like on Front Street, because people are, coming down the hill. And then all that's left is Front Street. And then it's the ocean. So then they have to take Front Street to either go north or go south. And there is a division. If you live on the south side of Lahaina Luna, you're going to drive to the other side of the island. If you live on the north side of Lahaina Luna, you got to drive north. And that's it. Up to Kapalua, and you're on the west side. But Front Street was like gridlocked. And people are driving in both lanes because there's only one lane going northbound. So the opposite lane, people are trying to go in that lane also to just get out. And cops were blocking the roads. And I don't want to bash any police officer themselves, but what's fucked up is that they're following orders from their higher superior. But why is no one thinking outside the box? Like, oh, fuck my superior's orders. Like, clearly there's a fire and these people are trying to get out, so I'm going to let them drive this way. So roads are blocked. Families burned alive in their cars because they couldn't get out.
Well, tell them too. I mean, only the people that were survived are the people that didn't follow the
Yeah.
law.
People, one of my friends, they got to a certain intersection where, anytime like a light is out, how there's always a police officer standing in the middle, like directing traffic this way and this way. And they're like, we're not fucking waiting. We just drove. Like, why are we waiting for this guy to tell us to go? So yeah, people that disobeyed the law that day are alive today. People that weren't going because the cops weren't letting them, or the people that were so far behind that didn't even know what was going on. They didn't know why it was gridlocked. Like, all of them died. If they didn't jump out of their car to jump into the water, they burned alive in their car. It's fucking insane. It's insane.
So let's get into that controversy a little bit more. So, I mean, what do you think happened personally? Like I mean, besides, I mean, it's like you're not stupid.
Yeah.
We're
We're traumatized, but we're not stupid. It's really hard to wrap your head around your government trying to murder you. And I got away. there's and I didn't know this until all this happened, but there's like this bullshit talk about a satellite city that Lahaina is going to be the first satellite city. Okay, when someone says satellite city, I think New York, I think San Francisco, Seattle, fucking Denver, Dallas, Austin. I think all these big major cities. I don't think of Lahaina. And my God, if you really want to put a satellite city in Hawaii, Larry Ellison owns the island of Lanai. He has plenty of land to build this satellite city. And would the locals fight that? Abso-fucking-lutely. But you don't need to wipe out an entire historic town and murder a bunch of people to get your way to build a satellite city.
Did you hear about this at all? They're trying to build the first AI city right there.
Yes, I heard a few things, but
And Lahaina's not the place. That's so inappropriate. Like, Lahaina Luna High School is the oldest high school west of the Mississippi. You don't annihilate a historic town to then be the experiment of a satellite city. And
talk about how people were calling all you guys
Yeah.
to sell the land.
3 days after, like, we're in shock. We're grieving. We can't find our loved ones. And people are getting phone calls. Like, there's mainland contractors and developers just licking their chops, like, calling people, like, hey, can I buy your land? Like, fuck off. Fuck off. You have no idea what's going on over here. And it's like, were you in on this?
It sounds like they did. That's the thing, the weird part of it. And talk about I saw this too. There was a book that came out, but the book was written about the fire in Lahaina, but the book was written before the fire. Mm-hmm. How does that make any sense?
Yeah, it was called something like Fires of Fury or something. And on the back description, it says that it talks about the events that happened between August 8th and August 11th, yet the published date was August 10th. Now, I've written a book. I've self-published a book. I know the process of writing a book and uploading a book. When you upload a book to Amazon, it doesn't upload in seconds like an Instagram profile picture. It actually takes weeks to upload. So either that book is a different book and someone just slapped a new cover on it, or
a lot of things are weird. I mean, how does the people over there feel about the president coming and giving them $700?
Oh, Sleepy Joe, he took his time getting out there, and he was there
Joe.
for an afternoon. I want to shout out to this girl. Her Instagram is Miss Courtney with 3 Y's and an underscore at the end. She's a local Lahaina girl. I love all of the stories she's posting, but she took the opportunity to talk to the president.
Okay.
And when she explained it, when they were all waiting in line, the CIA or Secret Service or whatever, they'll take your phone. They're like, hey, I'll take a photo of you with the president. And she's like, I don't want a fucking selfie. That's not what the fuck I'm here for. She said, in fact, I want a video. She wants receipts. And she told the president what she wanted. And she's like, look, we're just fucking human. And if you have the power to do something, keep your fucking word. And the people of Lahaina, we want to build Lahaina in our time and our way. Let us do that. Don't, undermine us or go around us or be sneaky and conniving. Let us grieve, and then we will build Lahaina the way we want to, when we want to. And so she has a video of that. She has that fucking receipt. She's like, I don't want a fucking selfie. I don't give a shit about taking a picture with the president, but I'm going to take this opportunity to let him know I'm a person, and this is my town, and this is what our wishes are. And only time will tell what will come of that.
I wanted to kind of get into what you were saying about, I guess a lot of mainlanders own a lot of the Airbnbs out there. Mm-hmm. What's going on with that situation?
So let's talk about tourism, because there's a lot of mixed feelings. So initially, right away, it was like, don't fucking come to Maui. Leave us alone. We are not here to entertain you right now. We all lost our homes, our jobs. We cannot be serving you Mai Tais and pina coladas. Like, don't take our resources. Displaced families need to live in the hotels. Don't come and eat our limited food that we already have in the grocery store. Like, it's just not appropriate right now. So that's the initial reaction. The other side of the island, South Maui, the North End, Hana, all that, you know, they still have their homes. There's still businesses, and they're like, wait, but no, we do need tourism for our economy to survive. And so we all have mixed emotions about it. And the thing is, if anyone is going to come and visit Maui, go to South Maui, go to Hana, but spend your money and stay in the hotels. Don't rent Airbnbs. There's so many displaced families. There's over 5,000 people, residents staying at the Hyatt. The Hyatt Regency opened up their rooms, but that's ending very shortly. So 5,000 people need a place to live. So anyone that wants to come on vacation to Maui, go stay at the hotels, and then please spend your money, you know, at local restaurants and businesses so they can survive. But just be respectful, like, and don't even attempt to go to Lahaina to see the devastation and take a fucking selfie. Like, we're grieving and we're in shock, you know.
Well, you said people are swimming in the waters. They're basically swimming in the graveyard.
Oh yeah, fucking 48 hours after the fire, there were tourists snorkeling out in Lahaina. It's like, what are you doing?
There's bodies still.
Like, are you looking for a body? Like, we're not snorkeling.
How many bodies are missing right now?
There are still 385 people unaccounted for.
So some are in the water and some just.
They say they're done with the land search. But again, because there could be people that just were entirely cremated at the scene. Guaranteed, there are a lot of bodies still out at sea.
There's something we didn't go over, the water. There was no fire hydrants.
Yeah, there was no water in the fire hydrants. From what I had heard, you know, I don't need any fact checkers coming at me. Like, this, just go with a grain of salt. But from what I heard, there was no water in the fire hydrants. There was even a news article about firefighters trying to basically fight without any bullets, you know, because they had no water. And I had heard someone make a comment that what little water there was, it was too sacred of a resource to use. So you're saying that the water is too sacred to put out a fire, but it's not sacred enough to keep the golf courses green and the swimming pools at the hotels full of water.
That's crazy.
Its priorities.
So they weren't even
are so
using the
fucked
fire
up.
hydrants to try to put out the
There
water.
was no water in the fire hydrants.
That's crazy. That doesn't make none of this makes any sense. It's like it just gets weirder and
Yeah.
weirder.
So then people ask, well, like, oh, well, then why weren't there helicopters taking water from the swimming pools at the hotels? It was 80-mile-per-hour winds. You can't fly a helicopter in that.
Yeah.
It's an absolute shit show. And if the way the fire started wasn't an attack, the way it was handled feels like an attack. It's utterly pathetic and irresponsible. It's absolutely heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. None of this needed to happen. Those children did not need to die. Families did not need to burn alive in their cars. Like, it's just, all of it is so fucked up. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so, you know, back to the tourism with people visiting. I saw on Facebook about a week ago, there's a displaced family of 4. They are currently staying in a home in Kihei on the south side, trying to get their kids into school on the south side since their kids' schools burned down. And they're getting kicked out at the end of the month because visitors are going to be staying in that house. Like, people on the mainland who own vacation homes in Maui, what are you doing? How do you go to sleep at night knowing there are displaced families when you're renting out your homes to visitors? Like, visitors need to stay at the hotels. Airbnbs, like, anyone listening right now, I dare you. Go on Airbnb right now, put in October 1st to October 31st and see what's available. And you will see 2-bedroom houses and apartments and condos available for rent. $6,000 a month, $7,000 a month, $8,000 a month. Why aren't these owners renting these 2-bedroom condos to displaced families for $2,500 a month? No one's asking for a free place to stay because everyone knows that free comes with a dick up your ass. Like, you can still make an income with a family paying you $2,000, $3,000 a month, and you can go to sleep at night knowing that you're housing a displaced family. I don't get it. It's greedy motherfuckers who are just tone deaf to real life.
Well, they even put up the price anyways? I mean, there wasn't even that price before. Now they put up the price, right? So it's crazy.
So they raised the price on rent?
Yes.
Possibly. I wouldn't be fucking
Because $6,000 a month, that's To rent?
You even said 8,000 on some of them.
Oh yeah, some of them were 8,000 for a 2-bedroom condo, $8,000 a month.
And what's the normal price like for something like that?
For a rental in Lahaina, a normal price. I mean, $4,000 isn't unheard of.
That's what I was thinking, $4,000.
You said unheard of, but that's still steep.
Yeah, it's still steep.
So it's like California between 2,500.
But now it's 6 to 8 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it's
That's
6 to
cold,
8,000.
dude. That's
Right.
cold blooded. Like,
Yeah.
what are these people
I just
doing?
wanted them to see how far it jumped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if it's normal like us, like California,
Yeah.
2,500 to 4,000.
Yeah.
You know, for a
Yeah,
I mean,
Lahaina's
four-
rent is similar to
I mean,
California.
you would even think that they would bring the price down, like just to be. I mean, like 1,500. You know what I'm saying? Like you would think they would bring it down just for these families to have some place to stay. But these people
that are not making any money.
But they don't care. It's like people are ruthless, and that's what we were talking about. Like I feel like you got to take care of your own family. It's like you can't expect like people to even care. It's crazy because I mean I don't understand. First of all, we didn't even get this message what was going on. The only reason I knew about this, I had people hitting me up like a week later, say, "Hey, see what happened in Hawaii?" And I'm like, "Yeah." The only reason I knew is because of the stuff that you were posting, and then you hit me up and we were talking, and I was like, "What the heck is going on there?" I mean, it just gets crazy. I mean, we're talking about the government not helping you, telling you to evacuate. I mean, I feel like people really need to bring awareness to their
Yeah,
families.
I mean, I
called-
followed it, and it was very vague from,
Yeah.
what I followed, because, I always watch, news and politics and everything
I
like
called
that.
my grandpa on like day 3 or 4. I said, "Grandpa, I'm like, no one's here. No one's here helping us. There's no FEMA. There's no Red Cross." And he's like, "What about the fucking military? There's so many military bases on
Yeah, for
Oahu, which is
sure.
a 20-minute flight from Maui. Like, you got to understand." So,
I mean, well, tell people where you're staying right now. Like where you went after that, because they haven't heard yet.
Yeah. Shadi, do you have the photo of the map of Lahaina? Or of Maui, for that matter?
Yeah, shout out to Diamond Studios.
Diamond Studios, always in effect.
Yep, always killing it right here. We got Shotty, killing it always. Yeah, I want you to show some where she.
I want to give people an idea of the different... You do have it up? Okay.
Okay, so they can see it though.
So, is it the one where, like, Lahaina's circled?
Yeah, where your home is circled.
Yeah. Yeah, so Lahaina's... And there's an arrow. I have, like, I drew a little red line. Okay. So, if anyone's looking at a map of Maui and Lahaina, I said earlier, if you're on the south side of Lahaina Luna Road, you drove south to Wailuku, Kahului, Makawao, Kihei. And, there's the fucking loop of what my neighborhood looks like now. Anyway, so I drove to Wailuku, to my Hanai sister's house. And over there, it's fucking weird because life is still normal. Like, everyone still has their houses. Everyone still has their jobs. There's cell reception. Like, life is normal. Those that were north of Lahaina Luna were stuck on the west side. No power for weeks. No cell reception. So there's people stuck over there that people we believe are missing, but we're like, no, they're probably still alive. We just can't get a hold of them because no one has cell reception, no power, no access to get in and out. And those people, because their phones weren't working, there was a lot of those people there that still had no fucking idea what had happened just 10 minutes south of them.
Also, it was like even almost being them in the mainland. Like they had no clue what was happening.
No fucking clue. And then, so the people that were displaced...
How do you not have
I don't
clue?
understand either.
How do you not have a clue where you're at?
I'm going to see a fire
be on the news
in
or
damn
something.
near
Yeah.
Victorville.
Yeah, but you can still see on the news something.
Yeah.
They would be showing something.
Something.
So why? Because they would probably go to try to help.
Right.
But they can't do anything
But
because
all
they're
those
stuck.
people trapped. Yeah, they have no TV, no phones, nothing's working. And there's people displaced and they're camping on the beaches. So I'm on the other side of the island, for a couple days, and my sister works for a boat company. And so we went to Ma'alaia Harbor to load up the boats with like toilet paper, pizzas from Costco, like, essentials. And because the roads, they weren't letting anyone drive in. So we're like, okay, let's get everything on a boat. So boats are going from Ma'alaia all the way to Lahaina. And the boats are getting there, and the fucking Coast Guard isn't letting them come in. So pro
What is
surfers
that
like,
about?
yeah. So pro surfers like Kai Lenny Everyone go follow him on Instagram. He's posting awesome videos, you know, with a lot of information, you know, using his connections, and all the pro surfers are all getting their jet skis. So then they're meeting the boats and unloading the supplies from the boats onto the jet skis now to
What
get
the
them to the people on the boats. Oh yeah.
And what's
But
the
we-
excuse? What's the excuse that they're not allowing them to go drop that stuff off? There is none. Ask them. Ask them. What is their excuse?
What, yeah. Like, I mean, how do you let this happen? And then why?
Why not
And
allowing?
it's like, if you're not bringing organizations to come in and help, like, we know how to help our people. You know, that's the spirit of Aloha's. We take care of our own. We're not going to fucking wait for anyone. By the time FEMA showed up, we already had mini fucking Costco's all over the west side that were brought in by fucking jet skis. Like,
Local Costco's, they was bringing their own stuff in.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Here y'all go. We gonna take care of our own
like
city.
the government's going to stop us. We're going to find a way around.
And do you see this though? Like to the people of Lahaina, like we didn't know really what was going on. I knew because of her, but even this is the first time you're really hearing a lot of this, huh, Ronnie?
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people didn't know what was going on. I was explaining to a lot of my family what was going on over there, but I mean, we did not know what was going on. You guys are going through all of this, and a lot of the mainlanders don't even know what is happening. I mean, it even gets further where a lot of the people on your own island didn't even know what was happening on the other side. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Why is there no coverage of this, or why is it not being displayed for people to see this stuff, what's going on? The only thing we get is from like Instagram and things like that, and we get a lot of the controversy of it. But it didn't show how crazy it really was until later on. Now we're starting to see TikTok, Instagram, things like that. But it ain't being covered by the media.
It wasn't being covered for split seconds. I mean, not seconds, a few minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, and I don't know what else was going on around this fire time, but, you know, normally when it's a disaster, like a big disaster, hurricane, tsunamis, big fires, even California, they follow it for hours.
Yeah, like
sometimes.
it's on the news 24/7.
Yes.
I mean, we have fires out here, and we know if they're big or not because, I mean, even if they're a big fire, like, but nothing's crazy going on with the people. Like it'll just cover it for a little bit, and that's what it seemed like, huh?
Right. Yeah,
It was
because
just-
you
nothing was
have
happening
media
to the
no
people.
matter what.
Yeah.
They're going to get their media through. You know what I mean? Somehow,
doesn't make-
some way,
See, it's like-
somebody gonna fly in and post up CNN or Fox or somebody gonna post up so we can see what's going on. And it was like at this moment, at this time when we were trying to follow this, it was very vague and it was just a few minutes of a update or a recap of or something like this is how many bodies are still missing, but not like, you know, talking to locals.
No, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you know, why we didn't get to see, you know, their experience nationally or locally. I mean, see their experience nationally from the local,
Yeah.
so we can understand
What's happening.
and what they're going through or what's not being said that we will like to hear.
I feel like people are just like government's just covering things up so not everybody can see what's really going on. And then we hear about this AI city trying to be built there. And none of this makes any sense. But we didn't really know what you guys were going through.
Yeah.
Because they feel like it was an attack. I mean, a lot of your peers, a
just
lot of your
so-
friends feel like it was an attack.
Yeah, and all of that, you know, it all comes out bit by bit because at first you're just in fucking shock. Like, I remember the next morning, I still didn't know if I had a house or not. And someone started posting satellite photos, and my brother-in-law is scrolling through, and I was like, stop. I was like, that's my fucking street. And I zoomed in, and that's when I got the confirmation. I was like, holy fuck, like, my fucking house is gone.
Yeah, and she texted
Everything's
me.
gone. I lost
texted me.
everything. And, you know, so what is it like the first few days? Like, you're in shock. I didn't brush my teeth for 3 days. I didn't have a fucking toothbrush. I didn't have a phone charger. I had nothing. And then, so this is all on Tuesday the 8th. And it was Friday is when I started hearing the morbid stories of the children being alive or burned alive, you know, in their homes. And that's really when the survivor's guilt slapped me in the face. Like, I immediately stopped feeling sorry for myself. I was so lucky, one, to have evacuated to the south side and not be trapped on the north end of Lahaina, but also, you know, I'll talk about a few different survivor's guilts. There's people who didn't lose their homes. They feel guilty. I lost my home and my job. But I feel guilty in the sense that I wasn't running from flames. I wasn't jumping in the water. Everyone has their own right to their own survivor's guilt and their own trauma, and no one is, better or worse or more or less unfortunate. And there's another thing that's going on with all of us. Like, anytime something bad happens to someone, they always feel alone. It's really interesting being a part of this. It's so traumatic and it's so devastating, but I guarantee you there's not one person in Lahaina that feels alone. Like, we're all going through this together. And another part of the survivor's guilt is, taking a day to do something positive for yourself. Like, I had to fly to Haleiwa for a few days, just one, to get away, but to go work for a few days was a nice distraction. And I jumped in the ocean, and it felt so good, but I'm like, should I be doing this right now? And then I saw a girl who flew to the mainland to run a marathon, and she, said, she's like, I feel weird or inappropriate or guilty doing this. And I commented, I said, girl, we're all going through it, but like, no one's looking at you funny for doing something positive for yourself. Like, don't stop living. And there was in that first week, my Hanai sister had brought us over massage therapists. They were giving free massages. And I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this because there's like missing people. But I remember laying on that massage table, and it was the first time in a week where I actually took a deep breath. And it's not a cliche when you gotta take care of yourself so then you can go help other people. So everyone out there, it's like, if you're taking a day just to do something nice for yourself, no one's thinking of you poorly. And if they are, fuck them. They have no idea what the fuck we're going through then. And they're fucking lucky that they don't know what we're going through.
I wanted you to do a little shout out for the Lahaina Venmo.
Yeah.
That you were talking about. Can you spell it out to the people that don't know everything,
so
they can know where to
anyone
donate?
listening, if you want to help, the best thing that you can do to help someone in this situation is just give them money directly. No one wants to be bombarded with too many clothes they don't need or too many things that aren't essential, and then they don't even have a place to put this stuff. So the best gift that you can give someone is money directly. So there is an Instagram. It's at Lahaina_Ohana_Venmo, and I'll spell that in a second. But on this Instagram, there are pictures of families and their Venmo QR code. So you can read their stories and send as many families and people money as you want. But to send people money directly is the best thing that anyone can do to help anyone in this situation. So at Lahaina, LAHAINA_Ohana, OHANA_Venmo.
And why don't you go ahead and give them yours?
Mine, I know you'll put it in the comments or somewhere in there. Mine is at Danielle Cedar. I am a...
Oh, we have them up there.
Yes,
See,
there's
Lahaina.
that Lahaina.
So
Perfect.
if you want to donate, go ahead and go to there, and you can start donating to families.
Yeah.
And then you want to put yours up there.
I've got mine at Danielle Cedar, but I want to let everyone know I'm more than blessed. I don't need another dollar. If you send me $1, it will not go wasted. I promise you that. When I have my shit situated, any money left over, I'm also sharing it with everyone. But yeah, please definitely check out Lahaina_Ohana_Venmo and just see the families and the faces and their stories, and all their QR codes are up there. That's the best thing that anyone can do to help people. So
yeah, please go out there and donate. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the thing that's going on over there is just, none of it makes any sense to people.
it's not. Like I said, it's really fucking hard to wrap your head around, like the government trying to murder you, and I got away, and if it was an attack, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a fucking duck, and everyone can believe what they want to believe to protect themselves, and it's just it's super fucked up. It's just fucking devastating. It's called a devastation for a reason.
Well, we were talking about, like, I feel like you got no choice. Like, nowadays, you can't trust anybody. You gotta have your own back with your kids and start having conversations with them and start letting them understand, like, look, you get, if there's a disaster, they used to do this back in the days anyways when we were children, like have somewhere to go and we'll meet you there if the phones are off. There's so many different things that
For
you can
sure.
do. Like if the phones are off, you need to go here, you need to be responsible for this, take this, go. Whatever you need to do, you got to get ready for stuff like this, because I mean, a lot of the stuff that we can see lately going on, it's like a lot of, you can't trust the government. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, everywhere you go, it's like you got to be able to trust who you're with, your family, whatever's going on, because there's a lot of things not being told to us, and when they don't cover certain stories that's a major disaster, that doesn't make really any sense. I mean, even with you, Shada, did you hear about how bad that was out there?
From my friends.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing from media. So, I mean, none of this makes any sense. So,
Yeah. I want to say something too. Just there was a lot of ignorant, just fucking pricks on the mainland where the people make comments like, "Oh, we have fires in California all the time." Yeah, we know, and no one is dismissing that or saying this fire is or better or worse. But again, you gotta understand, you're on the mainland. You can physically walk to another state. You do not lack resources. We are a speck in the middle of the fucking ocean. We are limited. We are isolated. We only have each other on that rock.
well, what is this, a disaster competition? Like,
Yeah.
nobody cares.
Like when
that
people
we had
say
fire
that,
here.
people-
Who says that? When
yeah.
you're a kid?
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah,
these
people
are
started
trolls.
saying that,
Especially when people losing their life.
Yeah,
When you
what
talk
are you
about people
talking
losing
about?
their life,
Yeah.
ain't no competition.
Oh yeah, people are like, "Oh, we have fires here all the time." Yeah, we know that. It's the
Yeah,
fucking
what
burning
does that
state
ma-
of
what
the
does that
country.
matter? Like, shut your mouth.
Yeah,
Like,
but when
you make
people
no
on
sense.
on Maui, like how we are saying, like, we need help, we need resources. It's because we are a 5-hour flight, minimum 5-hour flight.
You just gotta ignore the trolls because nobody cares what they have to say anyways. They're probably just
Yeah,
some weirdo.
those
behind a
are the
computer.
fucking trolls
Yeah.
that we don't want coming to visit.
Yeah, no, they probably aren't. They don't have no money. They're probably sitting behind a computer. they can't do nothing. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
if you're coming to visit, like I said, please stay in the hotels so people that work at hotels can have their jobs. Spend your money, at local businesses so they can survive. But
I mean, show
just be
respect.
fucking
be
respectful.
Don't be an idiot.
yeah,
Be respectful.
like it's our home. When like you come and visit, but at some point you leave, and it's still our home. Like no one comes into your home and trashes it. I would expect no one allows that for people to come into their home and trash it. Like, don't trash our home. So we want people to come and see paradise and understand why we love living there and why people love visiting there. But just fucking respect.
They don't swim in the ocean where people potentially died. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, 48 hours after. Are you kidding me?
They're literally snorkeling in the ocean where the people
Right.
perished. Like, what are they thinking? They have no common sense or common courtesy for anything. It's crazy. I mean, is there anything else you want to cover on this? I feel like you cover.
I really feel like we covered everything, and just fucking pray for us. And
you're staying where again? I'm sorry, did I miss that?
so on the other side of the island, my Hanai sister just bought a house. Her and her husband have impeccable timing. There's several displaced households staying there, and so myself and my cat, we're living in the shed in the backyard, and I've made it comfortable. I got a 6-foot by 11-foot shed. I've got a bed and some drawers with some clothes in it, and a litter box, and that's all I need. And I'm so blessed.
That's home for you, so
That's
you're not
my
going
home
nowhere.
right now.
That's why
That's
get
my home right now.
get on her Venmo and donate. People,
Yeah.
whoever's watching, donate.
There was a day where I couldn't help but cry. Like I'm so fucking grateful for the roof over my head, and I'm so lucky to be alive. But man, there was one day where I was like, I just want to go home. Like I want to sleep in my bed,
That's right.
in my room, in my house. But
I'm sorry
it
this
doesn't
happened to
exist
you.
anymore.
And everyone else. A lot of people don't show sympathy until it happens to them. Or
Yeah.
someone close to them that they know.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a disaster, and it uproots your life, and you got to figure it out all over again.
Yeah, and we will rebuild, and Lahaina's going to be so much stronger, but it's going to be a long fucking road. This isn't, we're not recovering overnight.
So let's go over this, Danielle, personally. Where do you go from here? Do you have a goal? Do you have a plan right now? Like, where do you go personally
Yeah.
from here?
So my Hanai family who owns the home, we're gonna rebuild, but again, it's gonna be years. I work at Pakaloa. It's the best bikini shop on Front Street. Like it's famous. We make handmade Brazilian bikinis, bikinis built for the barrel. Everyone loves Pakaloa. Pakaloa means raindrops of love or let love rain. And so we lost our bikini shop and we lost the warehouse in Lahaina. So it's like, oh my God, our fucking business is gone. But we are very blessed that we still have a shop in Haleiwa on the north shore of Oahu. And so we still have that shop, and online orders is limited to that inventory. So until Lahaina is rebuilt, I am going to be relocating to Haleiwa for a couple years. I'm going to be living there, continue working at the bikini shop there, and just have a change of scenery.
Can you order online?
Yes, you can order online.
Why don't you write? Give them
Yeah.
put this up on the
Pakaloa.com. We've got
Spell-
cuts and styles and sizes for all shapes and bodies. And
spell it out first and then explain it out so we can have
Pakaloa.
it up on the screen.
Pakaloha. Pakaloa Bikinis. Follow us on Instagram, pakaloa.com. And what we're doing right now too is every bikini that is purchased is a bikini that we're gifting to fire victims. So anytime someone buys a bikini, Pakaloa is going to gift another bikini to the fire victims that lost all their stuff. This is the first time in my life I never owned a bikini because they all burned. So that's what I'm going to be doing the next couple years is I'll be relocated on Oahu until we rebuild Lahaina. So but right now it's just one day at a time. And
How are you getting through this personally, like on a personal level?
Like making money and surviving. Like,
But even mentally, I mean,
Yeah.
your mental has to be on a different level of other people's right now.
So the house that I'm staying in, there's 9 of us now. We're like the modern day Brady Bunch. And so there's some days where I have high highs, and I definitely owe that to everyone that I'm living with right now. Like
Definitely.
we're just each other's support system
Sure.
because half of us in that house all lost our homes. And it's like that's we're
A family
bonded for
now.
life.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm Marsha in the family. we got a Brady Bunch photo. We labeled who's who. It's pretty funny. We play the Brady Bunch theme song at dinner every night. And man, that's another thing I noticed where I've never been someone where I sit down. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for this food on the plate in front of me. But ever since this fire, when I sit down at that dinner table, I'm like, I'm so fucking grateful for this moment right here, right now. And so that's helping being just with the family that I've created. And then there's lows and sorry love, that's misspelled.
Oh, which one?
Pakaloa, Pakaloha. It's all good. But yeah, then I have lows, and as time goes on, I'll go a few more days throughout the week without crying. And then all of a sudden I'll have a fucking breakdown, like out of nowhere. And we're all going through that. I mean, I remember, actually, it was day 2 or 3. I was shopping for a mattress. And I was like, do I want a full or a queen? A full or a queen? And then I just started crying because I couldn't even believe I was even in that situation in the first place. I'm like, why am I shopping for a mattress? Oh, yeah, because mine fucking was on fire.
I mean, there was even things probably you can never replace.
Oh, yeah, there's... I would say 98% of the crap in my house is replaceable. But that other 2% will never get back. Never.
I mean, you lost everything. I mean, imagine.
Everything.
That's what our viewers just imagine, like losing everything, things that you cannot replace. I mean, and that's just like, that's not even the worst of it. I mean, people lost their lives, their families, people are still missing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it gets way worse.
Yeah. Oh, and I was beating myself up those first few days because remember, I was watching the fire for 3 hours. I could have packed up my whole fucking house. I had the time, but I didn't know. And so I was beating myself up on that for a few days until I started hearing the morbid stories of the children, dying and people drowning in the water and fucking boiling water and all that shit.
That's
and I was
crazy.
Like,
The
and
water
once I
was
heard that,
boiling.
I said, I don't feel sorry for myself. I don't give a shit that I didn't take anything. Like the fact that I grabbed my hamper full of clothes, I had a week's supply of clothes. There are people that ran out with just the clothes on their back. Like that alone, I already had so much more than other people. I'm like, I don't fucking feel sorry for myself at all. I still have a right to my own trauma and my own, grieving, but I don't feel sorry for myself. Like, I'm so fucking lucky that I got out when I did.
Man, I couldn't imagine, because I know how, I can't say I know how you feel, but I could imagine how you feel just losing, even just your valuables, even your home, just things like that, but still have your life. Me, like, I would be, my brain would be going 100 miles an hour all the time, just remembering what was lost. You can't, it's like, that's not an overnight thing, and people say, oh, you can get it back, you can,
we know we can, but at the same time, like,
it tears your
like
mental
us,
up,
like gaining all that stuff that took years to develop.
Yes, there you go.
Like people know that listen to our podcast, what we came from,
yes.
having to build ourselves up took a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you lose everything, it's whoa.
Yeah. And it's all just stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it was taken without my consent.
Right.
Like I didn't choose to get rid of that.
And there's controversy behind it. So I mean, you're like, this couldn't have not even happened. Like, what is going on over here?
Right.
Was my stuff taken out of some bullshit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
So none of this makes any sense, and I think people need to start looking into this. I mean, a lot of the mainlanders need to start looking into this. I mean, I feel like news media needs to start covering this and figure out what happened. Like, why is this not being looked into further about what exactly happened?
Yeah. And all of you interested in purchasing land, like Lahaina is not for sale. Sit the fuck down and like leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Yeah, they're not selling.
Let us grieve. Do not be like, hey, can I buy your property? Fuck you.
Just go to Instagram and donate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to Instagram and donate.
Yeah, go to Instagram, donate, and just help out these families, people that can do that. Because this is crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having me here.
You have a final thought?
What's that?
Final
Do
thought.
you have a final thought?
No, I think we covered everything, and just be kind. If you don't,
Where can they buy the book from?
Amazon.
Yeah,
support you.
online.
Amazon.
Yeah, and I look forward. One day I'm going to be back here, and we're going to dive deep into
Definitely,
this book.
that's going to be fire. Because
It will.
I have a
I
lot
promise
to talk
you.
about when
Yeah,
it comes
that'll
to
be another day, and I
drugs
look
and
forward to that
addiction.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that shit's real. That shit is real, and but this was this is much more important right now.
And we're having another DNR tonight at 7:00. So you guys want to tune in for that. We definitely want to have her on one of the DNRs because, the kind of girls that we get on some of these DNRs. It's good to have a couple girls that are wholesome.
But she's been through something and she's expressed it. She's been through something and she's expressed it through how many pages?
344.
344.
You know what's funny is
you got a lot to say.
At one point this was 709 pages.
Oh wow!
I have a lot to say.
Yeah, you got a lot to
I have
say.
a lot to say. I'm not going anywhere.
We going date with you for hours.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, imagine her with all the whole panel.
Right.
Going on. Man.
We got to go 1-on-1.
Yeah.
From 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock with this one.
Danielle after hours.
Right.
Yeah, let's do that. So, I want to thank you for coming on.
How was your experience?
Yeah, how was your experience?
Oh, I loved it. I love doing this stuff. I love it. So I got my friend for life. I got my new friend for life.
That's what's up.
I love it. My new Ohana. So appreciate you guys.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And sharing the story. That was powerful. And I hope people that are listening take this more serious to spread the word of this, of what we just heard. Sound like it's some answers that need to be, some questions that need to be answered.
Yeah.
So hopefully we would know what all this controversy is all about soon. And why did this happen? Like out of nowhere, we have a big flame of fire in Hawaii, and people got questions.
Yeah. We'll close out.
House of a Baz. I'm Ronnie Adams.
And I'm Jacob Costas, and we're out.
We out.